All right, this is the oil change in a 1720 Ford tractor. This is my neighbor's. Oil hasn't been changed in it in an awful long time. Now, the tools you're going to need for this is obviously to remove the oil. The correct size socket, I'll let you know, this is a 19, that's my guess. A ratchet, and since I don't know exactly how tight it'll be, I have a breaker bar. These are 1/2 inch because all my 3/8 I was smart enough to leave in Tennessee. Being facetious a little there. I'm going to be installing Shell Rotella T. I wanted T4, but that's the non-synthetic blend, and it's a more expensive because they can get more money for the older oil, which is what I'd like to put in this tractor. On my other diesel, my Ford's F250, I use the T6 full synthetic. I do know, and I've used in the past, the additive package they have in these, they will basically clean out the engine. It did it on a very old Yugo, an IMT 560 tractor, which is known lovingly as the Yugo, because it was made in Yugoslavia back in 1980. Left and they abused it, and I brought it here. I put Rotella T in, fluids, and I managed to get it to start, and it had blow-by on the piston so bad that oil came popping out of the dipstick, and it was as black as you couldn't believe, and that's because the additive and cleaning solution in the Rotella T actually worked. But that being said, you need quality oil. The tractor calls for 10W30. I got this because it was the cheapest Rotella I could find. Then you need an oil filter to install, but another important thing is obviously the pan to remove the oil. You need an oil pan to catch the oil. I got 3 filters here. When I looked on this unit here, it uses an MGL51348, and that crosses over to a NAPA Gold 1348 or the Pro Select 1348, and it actually happens to be the filter that I use in my my VRE5Z engine on my Toyota Tacoma truck. One part. First filter I'll be putting on is this one here, the Pro Select. After draining the fluid and taking off the unit, the oil, and putting in Rotella T, then we'll run it for a couple of hours and I'll just see exactly how dirty the oil gets, because we honestly don't know how long ago the oil was changed. Okay, that's about it. I'm going to go down below and show you where the bolt is, the nut. All right, as I go, you want to come down on the right hand side of the tractor. There is the oil filter. Here's the dipstick. All right. Looking at that, you can see just how nasty the oil looks. It still has that shininess, which that's a good thing. The Yugo didn't have any shine at all. That's how I knew I was in trouble. But the Rotella T did have that luster when I started draining it. Okay. The oil plug is a 17 millimeter on the right hand side. So I'm going to remove that and get the oil flowing, but I'm going to set down the camera. So, zoom out. We'll get a look at the oil as it goes. Looks like everything will get caught. I just keep spinning it. There she fell, and there comes the oil. So you want to zoom in here if I can. And it's coming out nice and nasty, and ideally you do it when it's warm. And the engine's rather cool. It just ran for a few minutes to get in here an hour ago or so. So it's there, but I wanted to basically get it out of the engine so I could get something in, because the engine's the most, it's all complicated to change and work on, but it's the biggest fear that I have, because it grabs, it has detergents in it, and what it does is one end of the detergent and the oil grabs the dirt particles, and the other end grabs the oil particle, and the detergent flows around and goes through the filter, which I'll be pulling off here shortly. Oil filter wrench tightened, and boy, they actually, whoever put that on did it just like you were supposed to. It didn't take much effort at all. So check one more time. Loosen filter. Let that come out for a while. You can see where a lot of people cut filters and all that stuff, which is interesting, but you know, I guess I just don't care. When something goes wrong, we have a failure, it's kibbles and bits, pieces and parts. And then we'll hear it knocking. But that looks like very old dirty oil. Okay. So I bought a bunch of that and had it cut down, or I cut it down myself to make a platform for something, for an ATV. And I guess they make barbecue grills out of it. But as you can see, this is a Pro Select that's going to go in. But I'll put that in tomorrow. So I'm just going to let it sit like this overnight and wipe it down in the morning, and pull out the drain plug that's in the pan after it's all settled. Sticking with my plan, I got a heater going. Feels good. I'm going to wipe off surface area. The one filter I'm going to use is the Pro Select 21348. It's the cheapest of them, and I have a feeling I'm going to do this a couple of times, that the oil's going to get very dirty because they never really changed it. Hopefully I'll be wrong, but I did order more oil, and that costs, present day, it was $55 to have it delivered for 3 gallons. So it's expensive, but I got generators in Tennessee that run it. So I'm putting a small layer of oil on it. Alright, for the record, I pulled the pan away, and this is, how many hours did I do that? It was probably yesterday. Pulled the tractor in, so it's not quite 24 hours, and you see that black stain? That's 1 drop of diesel oil that came out, so it's still flowing. So we'll catch any more that comes out of there. I just thought that was interesting. So it's still coming out very slow, but most of it's gone. Okay. So let's see for it. There's the plug. I think it was 5 quarts it holds, but we'll get a gallon in and see what it looks like. The viscosity of this is a lot thinner than the dirty oil, that's for sure. I like to put in the engine oil first before I change all the fluids, because it is the most important function of the tractor it runs. So that's what I do, and I give it more time to soak in. Then we'll get to the radiator, because that's the next on the list. I don't think the hoses need to be fixed. Then we'll start doing the transmission, axles, secondaries, primaries, all of it. But step 1 and 2 is to get the engine, and which includes the radiator, going.